everybody. Welcome to House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. I'm Chris Breitenbach.
And I'm Dena Mathis, and today we're going to be discussing interior design versus home staging. And a little bit later in our podcast program, for the Real Talk portion, we're going to be offering up the top 7 tips that we have to stage your home. So if you're thinking about moving in the near future, you'll want to tune in for that part. But before we get started, we're really excited today to be chatting it up with Nancy Groh. Nancy is an interior designer and an influencer. And she's going to tell us a little bit about how to create those beautiful interior design spaces in her home. And we're coming from her beautiful home today, so we'll be sure to get some shots and offer those up for you all to see as well.
So Nancy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And I want to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, first of all, girls, thanks for having me. So honored to be part of your program. And so I am a decorator, and I have an Instagram site called Hydrangea House Decor, and just give people insights and show my before and afters with different clients, and and then just give you some tips on how to decorate, and it's just a lot of fun.
Love it. That's beautiful. So yeah, and your home is absolutely amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning. Magazine stunning.
It's magazine perfect.
Thank you.
I'm in love. So I guess first and foremost, how do you create that space that really is warm, inviting, and personal to each individual?
You know what? I think it's really important to just do what you love. So if you're, putting things in your house that you really spark joy, as they say, I think that's just really important. Stay authentic to yourself. And, clearly I love this dark color, so I was going to put them on my walls, And I always tell my clients, when I'm helping them out, that this is their house and I'm just there to guide their journey. But I'm not there to put what I love in their house. I just help them do what they love.
So how do you even begin? Because I know you're doing a couple of large projects right now for some friends, and so how do you even start with them?
Right. So asking questions, what colors do you love? What's your furniture style? So we even go through, some pictures. Hey, do you like this shot? Do you like that shot? So you
try to get an idea of what their style is like.
Absolutely. And also really repurpose what they have. I don't have the money to completely redo stuff. So I always say, put on a table all the tchotchkes, tchotchkes that you love and that you want to use, and let's find homes for them. But, just changing it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes that person that lives in the home doesn't necessarily see what you see.
Exactly.
So I can see where that could be a money saving way to go as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you have a table that you think, oh, it's kind of beat up and I'm tired of using it, well, paint it, because that brings a whole new look to it. I do that all the time. Or what I might come in and move things around, which I love to do. And
come to my house.
Which is awesome.
You again, like I said, you see what you see living in the house day in and out. Sometimes an outside perspective, a different eye will see things in a whole different way, won't it?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And so just moving things around, don't you feel like you just get like a new smile, like, oh my gosh, that looks, that's different. And so just by changing that up can really change the mood of the house.
Yeah, love that. I like that too. So talking about trends and talking about people and what they like, sometimes I find it difficult, and I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. There are so many different styles out there. Maybe my house is more rustic right now, but I'm really attracted to some of the newer trends and the sleeker looks and the more modern. What do you do? Is there a way to marry the two, or do you start over again?
Oh, I think there's absolutely always a way to marry both. I actually think I'm not into the trend deal. So,
Okay.
because then you're always trying to catch up
Keep
with,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and trends change every
Yes.
year, right? And so who has time or money to do that? So,
Good point.
if you're just doing it, styling the way you love,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing in new things occasionally to mix things up, it'll stay timeless. That's the goal, is to mix things so that it's always timeless and that you're not always trying to catch up with the trend. Who wants
That's
to do that?
beautiful.
Yeah, I do. I love that. I love that. That said, like especially for those of us who don't change much in their house ever, but occasionally you want something that does like bring you to the 21st century
Sure.
or whatever century we're in.
Sure.
So if I was going to do that, what are quote some of the trends?
Okay, really the trend right now, and I'm not doing this because of trend, dark color.
Okay.
Dark
Color on the walls, or
Yes.
dark color on the cabinets, or dark color on the floors?
However you want to use
Okay.
it. However you want to use it. So white,
Makes sense.
everything was white for
Yeah.
a really long time.
Yeah.
Super white. That's
Yeah.
not going out?
And
So what about white kitchens? Are they going out?
you know what? I think nothing goes out.
Okay.
Except, sometimes things go out, but you have to maybe repaint, sometimes. I will say.
gotcha.
But I still love all white, so maybe that wouldn't change for me. But bringing in dark colors really is a part of the trend. And
Okay.
here's another thing that's going to be scary to some people.
Tell us.
Wallpaper.
Oh, I know.
I'm starting to
Oh.
see it.
Lots of wallpaper.
And that is frightening to me. And yet I have wallpaper in my dining room.
Yeah. and
But
it's
wallpaper
beautiful.
frightens me.
Well, I spent 1995 in my first year in my first home ripping down wallpaper and creating a mess ripping down
know.
wallpaper. So yeah, I know I've seen some fun things out there, but that whole process seems scary. Has wallpaper changed since then?
They have peel and stick.
Oh, wow.
Peel and
Okay.
stick wallpaper. So you can try it out and then just, take it down, and it doesn't leave any of the marks.
That
and stuff.
easy?
It's that easy.
Okay.
Not that easy to put up.
Yeah.
It's still putting up wallpaper,
Yeah.
but it's way easier to take down. So if you just want to try it and see.
And I'm sure the designs, right? It's the designs that are updated.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I love a throwback to the botanicals and all of that.
Yeah.
So again, it's just making it personalized to you, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Personalizing the space, but maybe keeping your eye open to what the trends are and adding an added trend here and there to bring yourself, as Chris said, into the new
Just to
century.
keep it a little
100%.
relevant.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Dark colors, any
Mhm.
particular color tone, or just dark in general?
Just dark
Other
in
than
general.
burgundy, because we've all just gotten rid of that.
Yeah, burgundy.
And the golds
Those slow
that
people.
were-
Yeah, so
Popular.
golds, I would say golds and burgundies are, they are. They're little,
You heard that here.
they're a little old. But besides that,
Yeah.
but definitely dark
Dark
colors are,
colors.
yeah. Mhm.
You probably know much more about this. I like a dark color, for example, this wall being dark, because I think it gives depth,
Mhm.
and interest, depth and interest to a room.
And cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it
just-
feel warmer, doesn't it?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely what you want to go for,
Mhm.
is just the warmer
Mhm.
feel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very nice. So, people on a budget, maybe they don't, you talked about repurposing some things that you have,
Mhm.
but it can be really intimidating, I
Yes.
think, to go out and think that you have to shop and buy all this high-end designer stuff.
Right.
where can people go, or where can they look, or how can you help them?
So
even?
this is not going to be new to anybody, right? Homegoods.
HomeGoods.
How much do we love HomeGoods?
We love HomeGoods.
Yeah, so that's not new to anyone.
Chris, are you a HomeGoods shopper?
I am a HomeGoods shopper. I have also discovered at home.
Oh,
Now, you guys
okay.
understand, though, I am the minimalist. So
I know,
I
that's
love-
why-
You
That's why
definitely-
I wondered. You have a lot of really classic pieces, so I wondered if you were a HomeGoods shopper.
When I am going out looking for something,
Mhm.
you know, Jim, my youngest, just moved to an apartment in November, and we've done HomeGoods and at home a number of
Yeah.
times to get him settled.
Yeah, those are good ones. Also, Target, my goodness.
Target's got their great brand.
They do. Well, the Magnolia,
Oh yeah, they've got
McGee
Magnolia
and
Home stuff,
McGee and
too.
Company, which is great and beautiful. They have they both have shows on Netflix, obviously. So anyway, but yeah, so Target's another great one. Yeah, and again, you don't have to break the bank. You know, if you have some really beautiful classic pieces that maybe are more expensive, then you can add the less expensive pieces in and mix it up, and it just makes it that much more elevated.
And what would be the couple of key items that you would suggest people add or change or do? Just a couple of key items in a room.
Yeah, something that adds impact, maybe.
Pillows,
Oh, yeah.
pillows. Okay, so I say this all of the time to my friends who I'm helping decorate. Texture, like say it obnoxiously a lot. It's all about texture.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just
pillows.
looking behind us. You
So
know,
the layering,
right.
The layering,
Mhm.
that's just, it really adds that warmth.
Yet the
Right.
softness of the blanket behind you,
Yes.
right? So you've got your softness, you've got your hardscape.
Exactly. Well, see, girls, you already know.
Well, we only know
You don't need
because-
anything from me.
No,
you already know.
we see what you've done here, and we just, you know, cozied up in these chairs right here and next to you in this fireplace, and it feels like home. It really
Thanks,
feels like
thanks.
home.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So as part of being an influencer, tell us a little bit about what that means, how you help people, and what people should do.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that.
Well, you know, in part of our small business shout out for the week,
Mhm.
you know, we're excited to feature local businesses, and we love what you do. You are dedicated to your craft and your practice, and we want to be able to help other viewers and listeners find you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I at Hydrangea House Decor, the Instagram site that I have, you can go on there and let me do the shopping for you. So
Oh, you do that too.
absolutely, yes. So because I love it, so I'll do, you know, all the legwork and find, you know, what I think are really cool items and decor, and then you can, if you like it, then just tap that product, you know, and it'll take you to the Like to Know It app, and then you can shop right from there. It'll go to, you know, directly to, let's say I find a great Amazon pillow that I want to share with you, and you just click on that. Well, then it'll take you to the Amazon site, and you can buy it right from there. So I think I try to make it as easy as possible.
So people can follow you on Instagram,
Please do.
and any of the things that you might feature, you would link to.
Yes.
So they love that lamp. They love your hydrangea centerpiece.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you featured, they can click on that. It'll take you right to the store,
Yeah.
and they can buy it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. Thanks for explaining it so easy.
And you could create the whole look,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
You could create the whole look. You just click on, rather than going to the 5 stores that might be featured, you just click on each item and it'll show up at your doorstep.
Oh, wow. Can't get easier than that.
Yes.
Easy.
What if they want you to do the shopping for them, or to create the look in their space or their home? How do they reach you?
So you can always DM me, you know, through Hydrangea House Decor, and send me a message. So if there's something that you really want me to cover, let's say, you know, I love to do how to style a coffee table.
Oh,
How
so
to,
pretty. You guys can't see the coffee table, but
Thank you.
But trust
it's
us.
amazing.
Trust us, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Everything's perfect.
So yeah, or shelving, or, you know, again, you know, how to do things in, you know, to create texture and layers. And so that's what you'll find at the site. And then great fun before and after pictures of, you know, friends that I've helped, or even in my own house. Yeah.
Nancy has just redone her kitchen, removing the tile backsplash and some cabinets, has put in stone and freestyle shelving, a new hood. And so go check that out on Instagram and see that changeover. It was beautiful before, and it's gone from beautiful to stunning.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, you have made, I feel good. I'm having a great day.
We're here to make
Have I
you
Have I said beautiful?
Yes,
Stunning?
thank you.
It's because it is a model home. I mean, it's what our buyers love to walk into and instantly fall in love with. So there's you know, there's definitely a talent to it, and you have it. So you've been able, I think, to offer up some great tips to our listeners about how they can create that, maybe in baby steps in their home, and how to really live their best lives in their home day in and day out. And that's a little different than the home staging, which is very much depersonalizing,
Right.
which we'll get to in a little
In
bit.
just a short bit.
Mhm.
Perfect. Any other tips that you want to give us?
Yeah, hang out with these two. That's what makes you feel really great about yourself.
Nancy will hang out with you anytime.
Yeah, next time we're hanging out at my house, and Nancy's gonna like move things around. And,
I would be happy to.
awesome.
Yes.
We'll plan for it
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
We'll have a little lunch,
Yeah.
and a little decorating.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds like a perfect day.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. This was fun.
We
Thank
loved
you.
chatting with you, and we will look forward to seeing what amazing things you create all over Instagram.
Thank you. Appreciate
And again,
it.
our small business shout out is Nancy Grow, Hydrangea House Decor. Please follow her on Instagram. Check out those photos. She will give you great guidance on how you can make changes in your home.
We promise you'll be inspired.
So thanks.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
Hey, once again, Nancy, thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody, I am sure you got some great tips. And again, make sure you follow her on Instagram, Hydrangea House Decor.
Great. And just switching gears just a little bit into our real talk portion of our program, Chris, we're going to talk about the top 7 tips that we have that will help people who are actually looking to move, not someone who's looking to create that lifestyle change in their home, but someone who's looking to move maybe in the short term here and needs some staging tips. So we are happy to help with that. The first thing that I will just throw out there really is in kind of the curb appeal and starting at the front door.
Perfect place.
Yeah, and I know you're a huge proponent on that too, and the caulking of the door, right?
Yes.
We talked about that
Door.
before. Exactly. But really, it's the mailbox, you know, making sure that the mailbox is painted and it's not hanging, you know, the door isn't hanging on the hinge. So making sure that that mailbox looks good, that garage door is painted, the lawn is mowed, the beds are weeded, put that fresh mulch down, and really just seasonally, I guess you can decide what sort of plants you can add or not add. But now is a great time of year, of course, to be adding color, potted plants at the front door, making sure that front door is clean. And really even at that front door, if you look up, you know, you see all those cobwebs.
Get rid of the cobwebs.
Get rid of the cobwebs, right? So we're standing at the front door as realtors. We're messing with the keypad to try to get it open. Our buyers are standing there and they're looking around, and guess what they're doing? They're forming an impression.
Making judgments.
They're making judgments. They're judging your home. So you want that first impression to really create a mood and you want that mood to be inviting and warm and clean and happy, right?
Right. And even, Dena, you said starting at the curb, drive past your home, because there will be people who will drive past and make the decision if they're going to want to see it or not.
Precisely. Exactly. Good point. So yeah, that curb appeal, super important. Start it right there.
Right.
What's our tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is right up my alley, and it is clean, declutter, depersonalize. And did I say clean? And so by this, declutter. So take away as many items as you can and depersonalize. Believe me, if you have your child's report card on your refrigerator with a magnet, people are going to be distracted and not look at your house. They're going to look at that. They are going to stop and look at the pictures of your family that you have everywhere. And so by depersonalize, thinking of that, or if your personalization is you like a specific color or specific trend, this is a time where you want to think about maybe we need to neutralize a little bit. And I've spoken about this in the past with the deep clean. Really, if you can take your cleaning to a whole nother level, it is one thing that I actually suggest to my clients to hire somebody to come in, because they're going to think about things you may not think about. I'm a huge clean baseboard and air return vents.
The oven,
and so they know the things that really need to be touched that we don't think about. So that is my tip number 2. What do you think?
I think that decluttering, that deep cleaning, you can take that all in one or break it apart. But honestly, if you have gone that step and you are home staging, you are 90% there. If you take nothing more away from what we talk about as far as offering additional home staging tips, you're more than halfway there. You're almost there. And I like to call it editing. So whatever you have in a room, oftentimes you look at a bookshelf and I'm usually taking away about 70% of what is there. So you really want to feature those things and bring into feature those things of the home, the beautiful fireplace, the wall of windows, maybe some beautiful cabinetry, coved ceilings, whatever it is, those features of the home, you want people to see those things and not necessarily see your things.
Correct. And picture what they have in your space.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So another tip, number 3, I like to create a mood by creating vignettes. And I see that Nancy's got that kind of all over her house. And it really does help to create warmth to a space. Again, it comes back to that mood that you're creating for that buyer when they walk in the door. It is a very personal decision, and they're going to make, like you said, that judgment very quickly. Now, how many times have you sat on a buyer consult where a buyer tells you that they're looking for X, Y, and Z, and you walk into a house and it doesn't have those features, but they fall in love, right? So it's all about that mood that you create, grouping things together to create a story. And maybe you have a little corner that doesn't really do anything, but you create a reading nook by adding the blanket, by adding the pillows, by adding a book. You're creating a little vignette, you're creating a theme, and you're really helping your buyer to identify with that.
I love that. Love that.
That's my tip.
I'm taking us back to this editing, and tip number 4 is how do you create more space with editing? And I look at staging from a buyer's eyes quite frequently, and when I take a buyer in a house, I know that they are going to, I make them always go to the right. It's kind of a joke with my clients and I, but that traffic pattern from place to place needs to be clear. So I always suggest removing at least one piece of furniture from every room. I suggest removing furniture that might be in front of windows.
Mm-hmm.
In my area, we have a lot of classic 4-bedroom, 2 stories that have a living room with a dining room behind it, the kitchen next to it, and a family room. And so I may tell somebody, hey, you know what, move that second chair out of the living room. Let's get that small table with a plant out from in front of the window in the dining room. And that way, what you're doing is creating a more open floor plan. And it's going to feel like it has more space.
Right, exactly. And that's what you're selling. You're selling square footage. You're not selling the sofa. You're not selling the plants. You're selling the square footage. So the more surface space you can create, the better walking patterns. The home feels more open, feels more airy. You are creating that theme again, that this house has plenty of space for you and your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I was in a house recently that I was on a listing appointment for, and the dining room literally was wall-to-wall furniture. And so we took out 3/4 of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I said, you just need the table and the buffet.
It's that 70% edit, like I
said.
Yes.
Yes, and that room, they could not believe how big their dining room was after we did that. And
right.
I love it, right? Doesn't cost them anything.
Doesn't cost you anything.
And you're moving. So you're moving, pack up those closets. That's another way to edit, to create more space.
Right, pack away your seasonal clothes.
Right.
Exactly. So yeah, those are great tips. And these are things also that our listeners can do themselves. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. Doesn't cost you anything if you don't want. There are home stagers out there that are happy to do this work for you. If you call Chris or I, we'd be happy to walk a home with you as well and go room to room and talk to you about the things that you should do to edit each space. But these are often things that don't cost you any money.
Right. Right. And we'll be happy to do that even if you're not thinking of moving in the near future, but you are a couple years out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to start now.
Yeah,
and think now about, okay, I'm a processor. And so, what is it I need to get rid of? Or you don't even have to get rid of it. What am I moving to another space?
Right, right. So what tip are we on? Number 4, 5?
We are on, we're on tip number 5.
5. Okay, so another great tip, I think, is really this high, medium, and low. Where I think, some people think that they're selling a house, their walls should be bare. And sometimes the situation lends to that, but other times I think it's appropriate to add things at different levels and at different heights so that you can, again, accentuate the essential features of the home. You want to accentuate the hood over the kitchen, or a chandelier, or windows, or a coved ceiling, or beams. And you can hang things, you can bring in plants. Maybe you've got some really super cool, baseboards that are, really beautiful, or the flooring. But again, really taking things at different heights and also being conscientious of not hanging pictures too high or too low. And that's where an interior decorator like Nancy can help you as well, as to what is a comfortable eye level for you to hang things. And then just along with that, grouping things together. So while you're editing and you're taking things away, look to what you have, look to the things that you're going to use to accentuate a fireplace, for example, not detract from it, and group those in groups of 3, I think is usually a good number. And it's appealing to the eye.
Yeah, love that.
Feels complete.
Our tip number 6 is neutralize, lighten, and brighten. So this is when you want to, again, it's part of that editing and part of that depersonalizing, but on a little bit different level. This is where you may want to neutralize. Maybe if you have a lavender wall, that might be beautiful, but it might not be appealing to who your buyer is. And so what you might want to do is paint that either the white or the off-white or the light colors. Creating light in a home is going to make it seem bigger. I recommend quite frequently taking your window treatments down, because that will let in more light to the home too. Again, real simple thing to do, but add light, neutralize, Maybe I have personalized pillows that I love, but because the trend is, I don't know what would be a good color trend for a pillow right now. Navy blue is what I have put out. Maybe I need to change that, or maybe I need to bring that in.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to add color or add a trend or add something that feels appealing to the home or enhances the space without breaking the bank and, you know, buying
And
new, right?
change the walls to that neutral color.
Exactly.
So add your pop of colors somewhere else.
Add it somewhere else. Yeah. And I think one of the, I guess the final thing, are we on 7? Are we there yet?
Yeah, we are.
Number 7, I think to find either to repurpose your things, as we were talking
As
about.
I've told you to take them out of a room.
You take them out, you edit, but oftentimes I find things in other rooms, you know, you're selling and they're like, well, where do I go with all these things? I don't want to put it all in my garage, and then my garage looks cluttered and small. But oftentimes you can take a chair that's just too crowded in a bedroom, and you can move it into a study or into a den, and you can create, again, that little vignette where this is your study, it's your home office. You can lounge there and you can read. You can repurpose furniture and repurpose things that you have in your home, and you can move them around and reuse them. And the other thing that I think is really important, kind of along that same line, but maybe a little different, is to find a use in a space for all of the rooms in your house. Sometimes people create multi-uses, and that's fine. That's how we, how we live day in and day out. But all of a sudden, a study has become a pull-out sofa for visiting guests
With a yoga mat.
And they're exercising.
And a desk, right?
And a desk, because they do work there and kids play there, and you've got all sorts of things going on. So a buyer really gets confused. They can't necessarily visualize what they can't see. They see clutter, they see chaos, and all of a sudden your house isn't the right house for them. It's too small. They don't have enough space because you're trying to create too many things in this one space. So yeah, you really have to look at these rooms, really designate a use and a purpose for it, and go with that.
Right.
There's a particular model that I've sold actually frequently, and it has this beautiful space off the master, for example, kind of like a sitting room that nobody ever really uses, and the TV doesn't really necessarily go on that wall, and nobody knows what to do with it. So what I do is I create a dressing room space out of that. So
Nice.
Bringing in a full-length mirror, a seated bench, a really fluffy flucati rug. In another home, I used a bookshelf that we had in another room, and I created shelving for her really pretty purses. So all of a sudden, this space that had no use before,
Purpose by repurpose.
you repurpose the space. We've used things that oftentimes the homeowner has in their own home. Sometimes you add a thing here or there, but you've given a purpose to that space. Buyers love it, and they really makes them feel at home. Again, it creates that mood that they want, that model home ready. I mean, we all know we don't live that way day in and day out, except for Nancy. Most of us don't. But, you got to trick your buyers into thinking that that's the lifestyle. It is a lifestyle that they're going to have if they buy your home, right?
And that's what staging is all about. And
Exactly.
why? So we've given you 7 tips that you can start working on now if you're thinking of moving your home, or just in general.
Right.
And the reason why you want to do it is homes that are staged typically sell for 15% higher. So even in this crazy market, those sellers who have taken the extra measure to stage correctly are getting higher sale prices. And typically I would say they sell faster. Most homes are selling quite fast right now.
Yeah,
but it does
selling
add
quickly.
to it.
Yeah,
It makes it compelling.
Exactly. Well, and then that's what Chris's point of the 15%. You don't want to leave money on the table, right?
Ever.
So there are a few things that you can do to enhance the space to get more money. Then
Do it.
do it or not. But if you call us, we'll help walk you through a plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
Next week.
all we have today. Yeah, next week we are going to be discussing new construction. And so we'll be talking with Heather Kuth with Fisher Homes, and we'll be coming to you from one of their models. So excited to be talking
can't
about
wait
that.
to go see that.
Very good.
Remember, like and subscribe. This is House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.